A meeting in London at a hidden location to ensure complete secrecy, with a strong no comment on the substance of the talk. It was unsurprising that Red Bull would conduct Christian Horner's internal trial in this manner, after one employee accused him of inappropriate behaviour and misuse of authority, charges that the team principal fiercely rejected. But what is going on right now at Red Bull? What consequences could this have? And what do we know right now? The hearing was held in the presence of an independent lawyer who gathered the evidence required to judge the incident. The conclusions could be announced soon, perhaps before the presentation of the 2024 car on February 15th at the team's headquarters in Milton Keynes. But even longer times are not ruled out given the complexity of the situation. The Austrian division of the firm, led by CEO Oliver Mitzlaff and founder Dietrich Mateschitz's son, Mark Mateschitz, is committed to get to the bottom of the situation, relying on Helmut Marko to ensure continuity at the top of the team. It might be the end of Horner's career, as he has led Red Bull since its inception in 2005. There is a risk that he will leave the scene in the most unexpected and sensational way, following a triumphant 2023 that brought the team its 13th world title, if we consider the world championships won by Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen and the constructors. What happens if Horner does not attend the new Red Bull premiere in 5 days? Many are wondering, expecting that this storm will shake the rest of the squad, putting into question the long-term viability of other important characters if Horner is found guilty of the charges. Adrian Newey, the mastermind behind all of Red Bull's successes, has an unbreakable connection to Horner. They were both born in Warwickshire and went to the same school, 10 years apart. Christian led him to Milton Keynes after winning titles with Williams and McLaren, assuring him that it would be a fantastic challenge. They agreed during a dinner in Monte Carlo to promote the film Superman Returns, which was marketed by Red Bull. They have been together ever since. To the point that Newey's contract would include a termination provision in case Horner was ousted or forced to leave. Peter Windsor's recently talked about to the subject as well. I think it's an interesting point to discuss and think about what would happen at Red Bull if Christian, and that's a huge if, lost his job and he was fired. I think a lot of European press are saying, well, then the management goes back to Red Bull. I wonder then about the future of the team. I certainly wonder about Adrian Newey and what he would do, Windsor said. He's probably of an age where he would really retire. I think he would see it as finally the end of that era when he had Christian as the buffer and the really easy to get on with guy with. They are on the same wavelength. If Christian Horner departs, it'll obviously be bad for Christian, but I think the bigger effect will be what effect it has on Adrian's future. So Windsor is considering retirement for Newey, but he also sees a potential with another team. Ferrari currently lacks a technical director, and Newey has often stated a desire to work with the team. Windsor wonders if he will still want to do that work. I'm not sure they would necessarily get the best from Adrian. He didn't thrive at Williams, where politics played a big role. A similar thing at McLaren with Ron Dennis. Christian Horner came along much easier to work with and much softer in so many ways. I think the time has probably been missed for that move to Ferrari to happen, Windsor concludes. But Ferrari has previously attempted to employ the English technical director, who is widely regarded as the most gifted aerodynamicist in F1 history but has been unsuccessful. Newey himself stated, "The first time I was in the United States, in IndyCar, then in 1993 and famously in 2014. The negotiation with Jean Todt, who had just started as team principal and was wondering whether to hire Michael Schumacher, did not come to fruition because Newey was reluctant to leave England after returning from the USA. Ferrari attempted again in 2014 after Red Bull had won 4 world championships with Vettel and Newey was irritated by Carlos Ghosn's Renault unwillingness to spend more in power units. But the discussions with Maranello were frustrating, Newey told reporters, adding, "Emotionally, I think it's a regret not having worked at Ferrari in my career. Just like, for example, working with Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton would have been fabulous. Sometimes it's just a matter of circumstance." As it happens, he would now have the chance to make both dreams come true, given that the Scuderia has snatched Hamilton from Mercedes for 2025. Perhaps Newey is giving it some thought. And it wouldn't be shocking if Ferrari took advantage of the Horner case to launch yet another assault on the genius, who presently makes roughly €15 million. Meanwhile, the Red team may have already delivered another blow. This would be the employment of Pierre Wache, Newey's right-hand man, whom Ferrari had previously approached last year but was turned down. Wache is seriously contemplating accepting, especially with all the craziness around the Red Bull team right now. Furthermore, by creating the Hamilton operation, President John Elkann revealed his ambition to return the team to the top, banking on the attraction factor of the 7-time world champion to tempt engineers to relocate to Maranello. A window may open for Enrico Balbo, the head of Red Bull's aerodynamics unit, another Ferrari target, and a slew of other names. Who knows if Verstappen, who is under contract until 2028 and is close to Marco like a second father, would sleep well after what occurs. Maybe we could see him leave the Red Bull squad as well. Who would have thought about that only 2 weeks ago? But why is this all happening now, after almost 20 years of Horner at the top of the racing team? A glance at the firm Red Bull Racing's official website and CEO Christian Horner is plainly identifiable as the main man. But delve a bit deeper, and there is a long-standing power game going on. And this could be why this investigation is even going on. Horner's post may be at the top of the Red Bull Racing hierarchy, but CEO Oliver Mintzlaff now oversees the energy drinks athletic business. And then there's Helmut Marko. The 80-year-old was instrumental in the team's beginning over 2 decades ago, and was compensated with a generically titled Motorsport Advisor position. Marko was even one of those who chose Horner to lead the operation, and the relationship appeared to be stable for a long period. But suddenly, there is a disturbance. Rumours of a Marko-Horner power struggle initially surfaced midway through the 2023 season, when the former's xenophobic comments against Sergio Perez pushed him into the forefront. Horner argued Marko was not an employee of Red Bull Racing and hence not subject to the team principal's jurisdiction. When it came to Red Bull GmbH, it appeared Marko wielded the same power over Mintzlaff and Mark Mateschitz as he did over the latter's late father. Marko got away with the encounter, but whether Horner will finish his own Red Bull probe into suspected inappropriate actions remains to be seen. Horner adamantly disputes these allegations. The revelation of the probe was also significant. It surfaced in Dutch media with a source close to the Verstappen camp, sparking conjecture that Jos Verstappen and Marko were behind it. This, of course, has not been confirmed, but it is instructive that when the battle lines were established, even long-standing allies were unwilling to provide their help. Compare this to when Marko was under pressure and there were suggestions that Max Verstappen would walk away if Marko was fired. However, even if the claims are proven false and Horner's name is exonerated, the two men's friendship appears to be beyond repair. Compare it to the 9 other teams on the grid. You can identify the leader at each of these locations. Andrea Stella may be McLaren's team principal, but Zak Brown is the CEO above him. Alessandro Alunni Bravi is Stake's team representative, while Andreas Seidel is the CEO above him. Williams' team principal is James Vowles, while Matthew Savage is the chairman of Doralton Capital, which owns the team. Even at Visa Cash App RB, Peter Bayer serves as CEO and Laurent Mekies as team principal. However, at Red Bull, you have 2 men working in the same place. Marko's employment permits him to work anywhere he wants, but Horner is responsible for the responsibilities associated with being a team principal, and the two frequently overlap. Marko enjoys being the team's spokesperson when he has anything to say, but he also wields absolute power over the youth squad. Horner, on the other hand, is required to attend news conferences, meetings, and public relations activities associated with his position as team principal. All of this stress has arisen at a time when Red Bull is winning. It raises the issue of why now. Even if the Horner probe is treated as a distinct issue, people behind the scenes may wonder why they should rock the boat when everything is running so well. One possible answer is ego. If one half sees the other claiming credit for the team's achievement, they will be dissatisfied, and vice versa. Yet making such a move risks derailing the entire team. It would be difficult to find someone who believes Red Bull would not be a top competitor in 2024. 22 out of 23 wins the previous season earns them the title of favourites, but when this era comes to an end and who causes it, it appears that Red Bull themselves will be responsible. Complacency is a killer in a winning company, but ego can be just as damaging. Mercedes felt they knew better with their W13 and W14 designs, which left them vulnerable. The golden era of Red Bull may come to an end, with some squabbling over who would be in control of the Ashes. As they all say, you are your own worst enemy. And it looks like this has definitely gotten the better over Red Bull. And the question now is, will they be able to overcome this investigation and will things stay the same after it? And an even better question, will the senior team stay intact? Or will they jump ship now that the boat seems to be slowly sinking? What are your thoughts? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and we'll keep you updated on the latest news, almost daily.